The player that isn't getting talked about a lot right now is second-year wide receiver Jacob Cowing. We've seen in the recent videos on the vlog with Ricky, Jacob out there working. We already know he's a speed demon. He was a player that I really, really liked coming into the draft, and the San Francisco 49ers took him. Had the opportunity to interview him at the NFL Scouting Combine last year. But I got to interview someone today, his former teammate, McMillan, who's projected to be a top 10 pick wide receiver out of Arizona. They were teammates, and I asked him about Jacob Cowing, his thoughts on Jacob Cowing, and he gave me some absolute fire on what Jacob Cowing meant to him and his career, and I'll just let you take a listen right here. What could you tell me about Jacob Cowing? He's a 49er. And you got any stories, any insight on our guy heading into year 2 to play for the Niners?
I mean, he's a dog, bro. You know, he's one of the best receivers I've never played with. So probably, honestly, the best receiver I played with. You know, there's a bunch of stuff in my game where I've stole from him. So I can't tell you what it was, but you know, he's definitely a guy that, you know, inspired me and just motivated me, and definitely, you know, helped me be the player that I am today.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it.
One of the things that I loved about Tet's reaction is the second that I mentioned Jacob Cowing's name, oh, dude, he just lit up. Like, he just started laughing. He's like, that's my guy. And there's a couple takeaways from, you know, some of the things that Tet has said. You know, when you look at McMillan heading into this class, like, he is a phenomenal wide receiver. When that ball is in the air, he is going to come down with it. He is really, really talented. And obviously being in Arizona and teammates with Jacob Cowing, it was pretty fascinating to hear how much credit he gave to Cowing. And just basically, he was saying he was one of, and he was like, nope, he was the best wide receiver that I'd ever played with. And, you know, that's pretty awesome to hear. And, you know, Jacob, I think, is a little bit underrated right now. I don't think there's, you know, a lot of people who knew who he was coming out. He started out at UTSA, transferred to Arizona, and he was a quality wide receiver. He is a smaller guy, and he's probably going to get knocked for that. But unfortunately with the 49ers, he just didn't get that opportunity. He didn't see the field a whole bunch. But there were moments last year where you could see that potential. So I really do think with Jacob Cowing, and you just kind of get the vibe from McMillan as he's talking about Jacob Cowing, just like what kind of guy Jacob is. I think we saw a little bit of it in that vlog that him and Ricky Pearsall did, and you see Cowing kind of coaching up Pearsall, like looking at his hips, talking about his technique. And I just think that is a special element that maybe we don't see, some of the intangible qualities that we don't get firsthand experience with. And I really do think that Cowing has a ton of potential, and he could be a big-time player for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we see the speed. We know how fast and quick he is, but he's a smart guy, and I think his teammates clearly love him, and that's awesome. He just seems like a super cool guy, super genuine, and you know, McMillan had nothing but good things to say about him. So he's super chill, and I'm gonna put the rest of my interview with McMillan here if you want to take a look at it. It was really cool being able to talk to him and kind of get his thoughts on the transfer portal and all that stuff. But take a look, or take a listen and a look to the rest of the interview right here. And as you can see, we got Lambeau Field right behind us.
What's your pregame music you listen to?
I listen to reggae.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. All the best luck.
Who's the reggae artist you're listening to in the headphones?
Ooh. I listen to Kiala Malo Alcon, High Water. probably people don't know it, but yeah, those are people from Hawaii, but those are the people I listen to for sure.
How does it feel to put on for Arizona in an era of like a transfer portal and stuff like that? You stayed at Arizona and most likely going to be a top 10 pick. So how does that feel to be able to represent your school?
I mean, yeah, it's dope for sure. Just, you know, like you said, this transfer portal world, you know, it's common for people to bounce to different schools. So me being able to say that, you know, I'm a Wildcat for life, you know, bear down. So stayed there all 3 years. So I'm just super glad, you know, I made that decision. You know, I have no regrets as far as going to Arizona, committed to Arizona High School and staying there after Coach Fish left. So, you know, the Arizona community has shown me nothing but love, and you know, it's time for me to give back to them.